Peace, this is Homeboy Sandman. What up? I was born in Manhattan, New York. I was raised in Queens, New York. I never lived in Manhattan, though, but I was born in Lenox Hill Hospital, where my grandmother was a nurse, so she delivered me. Big shouts to my grandmother. As a kid, there was all types of music in my household. You know, my father's a big music lover, so he used to listen to hip hop, you know what I mean? I was born in 1980, so this was the early days of hip hop, the early inception. I remember my pops walking around saying, "Don't push me because I'm close to the edge" all the time. And then sometimes he would flip it. If I did something wrong, he'd be like, "Don't push me because I'm close to the edge." But so there was definitely a lot of hip hop, but at the same time, there was a lot of salsa, a lot of merengue in the house. You know, there's a lot of jazz, a lot of, you know, blues. Like, my pop was listening to, you know, Juice Swift and, you know, Jose and just all different types of music. John Coltrane, you know what I'm saying, the Cannonball Adderley, you know. So I was lucky to really have, and even rock music too. You know, my pops used to actually bounce at Lemoore East, which was a big rock club in Queens at the time. And so we had rock music, you know, that I was hearing. So I got to hear a whole smorgasbord of sound, which was real good. You know, it definitely gave me, I think, more of a worldly view of music, you know. I kind of can. You know, hip hop was always everywhere, and you know, being from Queens, obviously, you know, Run DMC was a big deal, and you know, I remember people older than me was listening to Kane and was listening to G-Rap, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of these dudes, which was amazing dudes. For me, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, he's a DJ, I'm the rapper, you know what I'm saying? I was a young kid, and I heard these guys, you know, talking about older people's stuff, and I thought it was cool, but I was still a kid and was into having fun, and now I'm an adult into having fun, you know what I'm saying? But I remember my boy Courtney Sorensen, he was going to 153 in Maspeth, Queens, and Courtney Sorensen gave me this tape, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, he's a DJ, I'm the rapper. And that was the first tape that I learned every single word on, that I knew everything about, that I listened to 1,000 times. And I remember having conversations with my, you know, older relatives, like, you know, cousins and my older aunts, being like, "Yo, what you think of this cat, the Fresh Prince?" You know what I'm saying? Like, and they be like, "You know, he ain't from the street." You know, they was listening to Boogie Down Productions, which of course all, you know, I got crazy love for all these cats I named, but there was a certain, oh, he's having too much fun. You know what I'm saying? Something, you know, which is prevalent even to this day. You know, people, oh, he's smiling too much or whatever. But I always respected. And on the flip side of that tape, he got joints that's hard. My rhymes have been written not to be bitten, you know, and just goes in for minutes at a time. And he could have stood up with anybody in those days rhyming. So that was really a tape that really, you know, opened up my mind. And then it was only after that tape that I started getting into some of the other people I named, like Boogie Down Productions, you know, G-Rap and cats like that. Well, you know, I always, since I got into it, you know, I remember writing a song called "I'm Hype" when I was a kid. You know, it was my first song, and it was, I don't remember nothing else, but that was a hook. I'm hype, you know. But I never really took rhyming very seriously. It was something I liked to do, and it was fun. I always loved music, you know. I started making songs, I guess, in college. I would write a couple verses, make a couple songs. You know, performed the Spring Fling, but it was really just for fun. Like, nothing I ever took seriously. I went through a stage in my life after I graduated from college. It really started when I was in college. You know, I think it was my dark ages, you know what I'm saying? Kind of my, you know, where I was heavy in, you know, doing things that I've outgrown now, you know what I'm saying? There was really a lot of chemical dependency that was taking place in that part of my life. And it was during this part of my life that I started writing amazing songs. You know what I'm saying? Like that I started writing songs, but they was always chemically driven. You know what I'm saying? I would always have to alter my mind in one way or another to focus or to get to the level of confidence that I needed to write that or particularly perform that or anything. So I never took it seriously then either, but I started to develop this, you know, whenever I'd write something and I'd be proud of it, you know, even though I felt like it wasn't really me, I'd be like, if only I could do this, you know what I'm saying? If only I could really do this, that would be what I did, you know what I'm saying? It's too bad I can't really do this, you know? So I really developed like 6 years of confidence that I wasn't using. So once I got over a lot of that stuff, and once I really sobered up and started, you know, becoming a man, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, was truthful and honest and you know, who tries to behave, you know, ways that I think I should behave, and I found that I could rap. It was in December 2006. I remember like it was yesterday. you know, I had even stopped rhyming because I was like, I'm gonna stop rhyming. And a couple people knew I rhymed, but I never took it serious. But this cat named Chetty sent me a beat because he hadn't heard that I wasn't rhyming anymore. And it was just so hot that I was like, let me just try and sit and write to it. I sat down for a whole day, wrote a verse, you know what I'm saying? And it was hot, and I was like, let me see if I can write another one. Next day I wrote another one, and I was like, yo, this is finally, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, my whole life changed right there. I connected with them through Fresh Daily, and you know, Fresh Daily is my brother, MC from Brooklyn. You know, super spectacular MC. You know what I'm saying? Super Spectacular is his song, Two Hungry Bros. That was the first song from him I ever heard. And it was actually, you know, when I first started off, I've always had a lot of talent. And I mean a lot of confidence in my talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pretty much feel like all I need to do is get people to hear me rhyme, and the rest will take care of itself. You know what I'm saying? So what I started doing was just going to open mics. You know what I'm saying? And rhyming, hopping in anywhere. I saw people rhyming, oh, you rhyme, I rhyme, boom, boom. You know, anywhere. It was freestyling, it was, you know, anything that took place. And EO Dub, end of the week. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to EO Dub. I went in there, which is pretty much it's got to be the premier hip hop open mic in the whole world, because it's the premier hip hop open mic in New York. So I figure it's the premier hip hop open mic in the world. But I stepped in there one time and seen Fresh Daily busting verses. You know what I'm saying? Just doing loose verses over as Calabash. You know, Calabash was just throwing beats on, and Fresh was doing verses. Wasn't even doing songs, but he just had some hot lines, and I liked his style and all that. And at this time, I was putting shows together on my own, because I've always been very do-it-yourself as well. So I was like, yo, I'm good. I know people. I'll put a show together. I'll go negotiate a bar minimum or whatever the case may be, a door split, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I'm going to put shows together. I'm going to herd some talent that I find. And I went up to Fresh, and I was like, you know, I would like for you to rock one of my shows, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, he was like, oh, all right, you know, give me an unlimited Metro card, you know what I'm saying? That's what I need to rock. And he came over and rocked, and we had never really talked, but at that show, we really I saw him do a whole set, he saw me do a whole set. It was at a place called Kenny's Castaways down in, you know, around the Village area. After that, we really started to build. He was like, yo, I like your style, I like his style. He introduced me to 2HBs, Two Hungry Bros, and he was working on something called the AOK Collective, you know, which was Two Hungry Bros, Nola Darling, Peace Soul, you know, Eighth One, you know, kind of a conglomerate. And that was really when that started to be born. That's when I started building with 2HBs a lot. They was about to come out with Table Manners, which was the first time I did a song with them and with Fresh Daily called Swagger Swerve. Yeah. I mean, I've had some really, you know, things that I could visibly see have changed, you know, like kind of my trajectory. You know, when I got on Son Hype, that was pretty early on. That was, I think, early in 2008. And that really changed things, just gave you know, I guess some degree of legitimacy to what I was doing in a lot of people's eyes, you know what I mean? And just some of the relationships I formed. You know, I formed a great relationship with Wes Jackson, who runs the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. So, you know, 2 years ago, I was able to perform at the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival for the first time, and then the next year I performed and hosted at it, which is a major festival, you know what I'm saying? And people started to see me, oh, you know, this is, and then Peter Rosenberg on High 97 gives me regular spin. I formed a relationship with him. He started giving me regular spin on Real Late, you know what I mean? And all those are all three big steps, you know, that have happened, you know. But I mean, it's really been relationship based, you know. Chris Farrell one, you know, that writes for The Source. Chairman Mao, that writes for Double XL. I've never had any, just recently with this, The Good Son, the first time we ever had a publicist. Shouts to Matt Conaway, you know what I'm saying, who did a fantastic job. Before that, it was just me, my boy Eric, you know, Dayson Pedigree, and my boy Sosa. That was it. And it was just us, and we contacted everybody on our own. We got on all the we done big shows in New York, you know, everything was us. Because we never needed, all we needed was for people that make the decisions and love hip hop to hear us. You know what I mean? And so it's been these dudes that have stood for us. We never had no scratch. We never had the budget to even work records. You know what I'm saying? But we'd work them as much as we could with MP3s, trying to get into DJs. And, you know, so, you know, the Brooklyn hip hop was definitely a huge deal. You know, I've gotten to, you know, and just rocking all the time, man, you know.